Thank you so much, Vanessa, for that, for sharing. I'm humbled to be here with you all and to share this weekend with you all, but in particular, I'm humbled by and privileged by the opportunity to be with and to share this stage with such powerful women. So again, Vanessa, thank you so much. Vanessa, please. I'm going to begin my own talk with something that we've all rubbed up against this weekend. It's with the fact that in our own lives we've been presented with myths and with bullshit for an entire upbringing. These myths are sold to us by those who hold the power for now, and these myths are sold to us by those who keep us from empowering ourselves. These myths go something like, climate change is such a vast problem that we can't begin to solve it or to reduce its effects. You know, real quick with those lines there. Or to reduce its effects. We should continue on with business as usual until we watch it all come crashing down. We're too far along, it's too expensive, and it's too difficult. The myths go something like this. Unless what you're suggesting solves all of our energy needs and makes it easier for us to continue living and consuming exactly as we are today, then it's not worth pursuing. These myths go something like this. We need to wait for technology to catch up so the engineers and scientists and physicists can figure it out for us, and so that the politicians will adopt responsible energy and climate policy all on their own. That one's my favorite myth. My name is Stephen Thomas. I'm a part of a community of friends and of builders called If You Build It here in Halifax. I work now as an engineer and project coordinator for a community-owned large-scale wind energy producer here in Halifax. And we develop projects across Nova Scotia that are owned by the communities that they are erected in and by those that would otherwise not have the power to erect those wind turbines. Those who would otherwise hold the power pay these communities for the power that they produce. This is a step toward good democracy, and this is a step toward climate action, but the systems that we belong to now more broadly do not look like this and do not operate this way. I'm a recent graduate of the mechanical engineering program here at Dalhousie, and I spent 5 years in an institution that actively perpetuated these myths. The engineering campus is filled with brilliant minds that go to bed at night dreaming of how we can make a pipeline 5 or 10%. Really quick with the slides, they dream of how we can make a pipeline 5 or 10% more efficient, but these myths keep them and keep many of us from being afforded the skills and critical thinking to question why we're building pipelines in the first place. A friend of mine started a group to discuss just this, to begin to unravel these myths and to talk about energy ethics in the fields of design. I began to see these myths of fossil fuels and of the relics of mega-scale corporate energy and how they do not serve us and they do not serve this planet. Still, I felt overwhelmed, and I felt that I wouldn't be able to do anything about it until I graduated, moved on to a master's, or someday was elected to public office where I presumed that important people made rational, important decisions. The most important myth for me wasn't shattered until another friend of mine said something in passing about how he was part of a community center in Glassville, New Brunswick, that built their own wind turbine. They built their own wind turbine by themselves with their hands out of wood. Baldwin Center, anybody? That was wild for me. It totally shattered that part of my worldview, and I knew then that I could build one with my community, and I knew then that I should. With this new audacity, I approached a mentor of mine and the mother of my childhood friend, Liz McPherson, pictured in the middle there, looking nice and happy, and who some of you may recognize, and some of you, I hope, get the privilege and the pleasure to meet tomorrow during some of tomorrow's food workshops. She's been an essential mentor for me, and she's held me back while the rest of the guys are skateboarding when I was a kid, to tell me about climate change, and to tell me about renewable energy, and to tell me about organic food. I thought that she might be into the idea of having a wind turbine in her backyard, and she was. More than that, she believed in us, and she saw something in us that we didn't see in ourselves. She agreed to fund the wind turbine project and have us build it for her in her backyard in Tattagouche, Nova Scotia, which is great, except we had no idea how to build a wind turbine for her in her home in Tattagouche, Nova Scotia. We had some plans that we bought off the internet and some skills that we then thought were inapplicable. Weekend after weekend, we traveled to Tattagouche and work on this turbine and think about it and mess it up and try again. The difficulty of this process necessitated that we teach and we learn from each other, and we bring in new skills and new people along the way. Our friends could shape surfboards, and you'd be surprised at how transferable that skill is to carving the blades of a wind turbine out of hemlock and encasing it in fiberglass. My father could weld, and he lent his skills and patience to us while building a medium of communication and meaning that he and I didn't have to that point. This process was not enriched by a majority of engineers or professionals or physicists or anything like that, but it was enriched by having a majority of people who couldn't be told that it couldn't be done, and who came to learn something and to build something. This process, next couple here. Let's do the blades, one more. Yeah. This process engaged mothers and fathers and grandmothers and grandfathers, university and college students, and those who had yet to graduate with a university or even high school degree. Truly, everyone's contribution was essential to this process, and everyone had something to bring to the table. The table was looking more delicious for it. The turbine took 5 months to build, and although we're performing some maintenance now, it's been spinning like a top and reminding us of the energy that we poured into it over that time. The energy that it's producing is directly displacing the energy that Lil would otherwise have to buy from Nova Scotia Power, from coal-fired power plants, from coal that's mined in Colombia. We built something, but more than that, we removed ourselves from a system that we didn't agree with and that didn't serve us or this planet. We built a community out of that wind turbine. When the turbine was complete, we wanted to bring the experience of building to an urban setting where there's more people to share it with, more chance for serendipity and collaboration, and a much greater energy demand. The turbine process was beautiful, but we wanted the experience to be portable. We took this model of building together and we organized public build days, where we would plan to build solar panels in public spaces, community gardens, and our own backyard. The more opportunity for a passerby or for a distraction, the better. The best build days weren't when we had finished a solar panel, but when someone who had arrived at the beginning of one of these build days, not knowing what a solar panel was or not knowing what a soldering gun was, learned something, and then by the end of the day was teaching other people those skills. This is all nice in the teaching and learning, and this is all nice in what we've been able to accomplish, but I think it's important to highlight the fact that we had no idea what we were doing, and we still operate not knowing exactly what we are doing. A couple of slides further here. Well, that's below. This is me, and this is not the face of a young man who knows what the hell he's doing. So this, failing is important, not knowing what you're doing is important. In fact, it's essential for me, and in a group like this, you can be vulnerable and you can feel supported in that vulnerability. You can do things that you would not usually do, like soldering a solar cell, like design a banner, or write and perform a song in front of 100 people through a solar-powered amplifier. It's essential to simultaneously teach and to learn, and it's essential for me to simultaneously offer and receive support. Together, we built our bike-transported solar-powered generator. We didn't need and don't need to burn gasoline or diesel to power our events. We've had solar-powered concerts, solar-powered film screening, and it's available anywhere here in Nova Scotia for those reasons. We created a platform for ourselves and for our friends, and we built the electricity that we need to amplify our voices, and we did it together. It's very unlikely that any one of you, or certainly myself, has the skills, the knowledge, and the mindset to fight the climate crisis. But I guarantee you that it exists in your network of family, of friends, and of neighbors of your community. Turn it on for yourself and watch it turn on for everyone around you. Building it ourselves is climate action. Distributed, community-built, community-owned renewable energy system is a step toward climate action. We have all that we need to take ownership and agency back into our own hands and to build the energy future that we want for ourselves and that we want for our children. This way of thinking is what people mean when they say grid democracy, and this way of building and learning and envisioning is what I mean when I say community. We do not need fossil fuels. We do not need multinational corporations to exploit First Nations communities, marginalized people, and the earth itself to provide us with cheap, dirty, shitty energy. We do not need to worsen this climate crisis to turn the lights on. We do not need a pipeline, they need a pipeline. The people who sell us these myths depend on us to believe in them so that they can continue perpetuating the problematic systems that they built and that serve them. We have everything we need within ourselves and within our communities to build strength and skills and learnings and share them with each other to build the future that we want. The most important learning for me, and the best thing that one can say when faced with these myths, or when told that building a socially and environmentally prosperous future is not possible, is fuck you. I'm doing it anyway, and I'm bringing my friends.